Welcome to the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast with Vicki Nedling. You are about to discover impactful lessons that help you grow as an individual, grow your confidence, and find the positive and good within you, so you powerfully and authentically become the best version of yourself. Be sure you visit our website at www.findyourleadershipconfidence.com. While you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now tune in, get ready, and enjoy the journey of emerging as a leader of exception in the 21st century.
Welcome everyone to the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast. I'm your host, Vicki Nedling, coming to you from Roswell, Georgia. The goal of this podcast is to bring topics and guests that will empower you to take your business or your life to the next level. Today, I am very excited to have David Van Beekum as my guest. And as you can see from his screen, he is going to be talking about what he has at Tweva, Inc. So let me tell you a little bit about David before we get started with the questions. David, or you go by Dave?
Yeah, either one works.
Okay, so he is the co-founder and creator of tweva, the world's first social TV network for small business and influencers. A digital marketing guru, startup enthusiast, and tech expert, Dave is a man of many talents. Balancing the challenges of running a startup with a family, Dave is currently focusing on securing a $2.2 million with an M dollar investment for tweva, while simultaneously driving traction with local businesses on the platform. It's a tough balancing act, but Dave's passion for helping small businesses succeed is unwavering. Dave lives in Florida with his wife and 3 girls and enjoys the beautiful outdoors when he's not bound to one of his many computers.
That's for sure.
Our theme today is going to be social connection, building relationships and community. Please welcome David Van Beekum. Hey, David.
Hey, Vicki, how are you? Thank you so much for having me on the show.
I am so pleased to have you on the show today. I was very interested. I love all of the different things that are coming out with, I guess, new vehicles for us to get out there and to be more seen, heard, and felt. And so I was very happy to have you as a guest. We already gave away the secret of where you're from, so that first easy question is gone. Sorry, we're going to just get right into the meat of what you do and why. So what are some ways for small businesses to utilize the latest technology to expand the customer reach?
All right. So I was going to say I'm from Jersey originally, but now
there you go.
There you go. I'm a little bit north, a little bit south, but I think, when it's 70 degrees out and you put on a sweatshirt, then that's Floridian then at that point, right?
I know.
Okay.
And the thing is that, now that we've been in the South, because I'm originally from Pittsburgh, now that we've been in the South for more than I was in up north, the cold down here, like if it's 60, it's cold. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. It's cold enough to go outside. And just like about 20 minutes ago, we had a huge hailstorm. So I was worried. I'm like, this is going to show up on the podcast. I hope it stops. And it just slowed down. So if you hear a ping or a ding, that's
hail usually brings tornadoes.
I know.
Okay.
Oh, so it was crazy. So that's that. So let's jump into talking about how businesses can use the technology to their advantage, because every small business, we are always working in our business, and how do we use that technology to kind of give us a free 10 minutes or 20 minutes that we're doing these mundane tasks. So I just thought I'd share a couple of things that I've learned, at least trying to help fellow business owners just like me. So number one, I would say, is some sort of automation that you can attribute to, and there's marketing software to do this, in your email marketing, in your contacts, and your social media. That seemed to be a really big help. I was very, years ago trying to post on all these different accounts all at once, writing these different hashtags. And there's multiple pieces of software out there that let you see a calendar of, this social media, what needs to be pushed out. Things like for your email to track if somebody opens an email. That's incredibly important. If you have 5,000 people on your list, or even even small, if you have 800 people on your list, you want to know the 200 that are actually opening your emails, and then maybe pick up the phone and build that relationship with those 200 people versus saying, okay, I did my job, I sent out an email to 800 people. We got to be a little bit more, especially as small business owners, very proactive with that. And then, of course, I'm going to plug the tweva TV in, because this is something that I've been working on for years with my partners, and it is kind of a new concept. So there's going to be a little bit of learning and talking about it, but small businesses don't have the ability to advertise on TV. It's just, maybe they do have the capabilities, but they don't have the budgets.
Right.
And I say, it's not because the businesses don't have a 4K camera in their pocket. That's not the reason why they don't post content on TV. It's literally because it's really expensive. So we created a way to allow small businesses to join the tweva network, which is actually a TV channel for their city. So I was actually just walking around talking to businesses this afternoon. I was in a dance studio. I was in Ace Hardware. I talked to them, even though they're a franchise. Fish and chips place, and just talking to them about TV networking. And bring this back to technology, it is something that we don't really think about, but it's very powerful. So those three things I would say is, one is your marketing, automation, some sort of AI component, and then look for that upcoming way to advertise on local TV, because you're getting access to people that are getting their hair cut, right? They are 5 doors down from your business, or they're just live in your town. If you can get in front of them, it can be very powerful for them to constantly see who you are and just say, dude, that guy lives in my community. I'll just give him a call, or I'll stop by, right?
Right. So you talked about AI, and that's one of I guess the last several months I've been dabbling in that, and just a geek at heart, type of thing. But I also am a very busy lady, and I love the ability for me to get brainstorming foundational stuff that then can springboard more of my thoughts by using AI and ChatGPT and others. So I know it's complex for some people and scary for some people, but what are some practical ways that a small businessman or a business person or an entrepreneur can go ahead and take advantage of the benefits?
Yes. So with ChatGPT, if you haven't delved into it yet, think about it like one of those live chats that you have with, sometimes you find them, they're a robot, you're on a live site, and they'll say, hi, welcome. And you say, what's your name? And you say, my name is so-and-so. And they says, thanks, Dave. What are you looking here today? And gives you 3 different options. That's a baby version of ChatGPT. ChatGPT can be very complicated, but it can be very simple too. Just start playing with it. There's apps in the App Store, right? I think one of them I have is Genie. It gives you like 10 or 20 questions, queries a day, prompts. And that's a good way to just start asking it questions. But there are prompt-based websites where you can go find the best 100 prompts. But from the creating content or ideas, very powerful. Don't create your wife's 10th anniversary card with it, though. I was on a podcast, we were joking about this, saying, is it unethical to do this? And I was like, well, if your wife doesn't know that it's, you, which she probably would, after how many years, she's like, honey, your eyes are as beautiful as roses. Like, honey, that's not you, right? She would know We're not creating content from the beginning, but for ideas, it's incredibly powerful. What you can plug in some keywords and say, hey, give me 10 blog titles to write about. And you can start from there. It starts that, creative juices flowing. You're like, oh, that's a great idea. Or give me 50 of the best keywords for business industry, whatever your business industry is. That seems to really kick in a lot of the, most of us hit a wall when you say, oh, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to write about, right? So that really seemed to push a lot of people forward. I think people are worried about it, but I think it's very powerful in form of, getting us as a society to start publishing content, versus just saying like, okay, I'm here. You can call me if you need me. Now we're able to publish really great content. And I want to be part of that piece. I'm in the video side, not necessarily writing content for your blog.
Yeah, but you have to do scripts for video and make it seem
right.
You and.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. For scripts, it works. I want to conduct interviews at a local level with businesses. And so I don't really know everything about a fish and chips shop. So I would ask ChatGPT, if I want to ask questions that would help this type of business rank high in his Google rankings, what form of questions would I ask? Right. And it's probably going to give me a really great way for him to try to answer in a very local way to help him rank better. And I can use that content for the TV network. So I'm using that in between to the best of my ability,
Yeah, that's great. And the thing that's great about it, and the more that you put in your content, like I upload transcripts and things that I've done, so it hears my voice a lot. So now it's going to give me more responses back in my voice.
Yes.
And my content. And so I think that's something that people need to understand too. There are tools out there that are looking at the 80%, is it you or AI? And if it's AI, it's going to be a flag. So you need to just, as you Zoom now allows me to do transcripts of all of my podcasts. And so one, that's going to help me write books, but two, I upload that stuff into GPT so that it starts to hear, the different people that I'm doing. So when I'm marketing me, so I can see how you, as you're doing your discussions with more and more of the businesses, as you expand, you can take that to the next level.
Yes, absolutely. And to create a system so that we can do this in every city. So I want to be able to say, all right, if you want to be the spokesman for your city, these are the processes that we need to do. Do a little bit of research on the business, look up their keywords, then, prompt these prompts to get these questions, then go interview them. They're the expert, right? You don't have to be the expert, but we do have to ask really, really good questions so that we can provide them a good platform to be able to answer. But absolutely, that is key today. That is key.
So I think we kind of touched a little on this when we talked about costs prohibited for small business, but despite TV's advertising being dominated by corporate giants,
yes.
What are some strategies that small business owner, that entrepreneur, or even, I would even think things like associations like Toastmasters or Rotary that need to get to reach people that can afford to do it on, national television? How can they be helped by tweva?
So this is kind of a new concept in building and creating content. Usually when you go to a TV station, your ad is going to be in between a car commercial, possibly a pharmaceutical, and a franchise, right? So you're going to have Pizza Hut, Kentucky Fried Chicken, you have the big boys in there, and you're going to say, okay, well, I got 30 seconds to create this content. What am I going to be, put everything in that slot to try to drive customers to me. And tweva has a little bit different of a view on that local TV is we don't necessarily have an hour of programming or 54 minutes. We have content for the local city. We have things that are going on. We have the local weather, some social media. But then the rest of that time is dedicated to what I call small clips of like this old house or extreme home makeover, right?
Mhm.
Why is that? We all know this old house. There's 3 or 4 contractors on that. There's 300 million people in America. Why isn't this my local contractor in my city showing me how to replace a roof? Why isn't
Yeah.
it the local plumber? I mean, I don't know, seriously, I don't know who's sitting next to me in the pizza place. It probably is the plumber, or it possibly is the contractor, but I don't know his face. So if we generate content in between, let's say short form and long form, something 2 to 5 minutes, you know, it's the chiropractor adjusting someone's back, then he's got the chart out and he's, you know, doing the little list, and then he's shaking the hand and he's waving goodbye and the car drives. Something more storytelling.
Yeah.
That's more content that I may look and watch than you know, a 30-minute segment clip of extreme home makeover or something like that.
Right.
So it's a little bit different to create content for that. I haven't seen it. I mean, maybe you could call it a little bit of like a YouTube kind of thing, but YouTube can even be long, right?
I actually, as you were saying that, my daughter watches a show that is just trailers of movies. And so,
trailers.
yes. And so as you were talking
right.
about that, I thought that's what we're doing. We're creating a video trailer of our business.
Yes, that is absolutely right. The trailer's about two or 3 minutes.
Yeah,
them,
it's
right?
short. Yeah.
Yes. Yep. I want to, and you see that over and over again, and you're going to start to say, next time you think of something breaking, it's like, call that guy. I saw him somewhere. I've seen him. Now, this does not require a Google search. It does not require a Facebook friend or anything. It's just, he lives in my community. I know I've seen him before. Call that guy I've seen at the pizza place.
Yeah.
That's what we want. These little local connections that could happen in the community. I mean, there's 55,000 people in my city. That's a lot of people for me to know, let alone do business with. So it's not that we have to go outside the city, but my AC broke down 4 or 5 months ago, you know, in Florida. It was during the winter, but you know, I called a guy, found a guy. It's like, he drove 45 minutes. I'm going, why? Well, he got on a site. I went to a site. I found something, did it. It's like, we got to fix this. We got to fix this so that it's more local based. So,
yeah, it's that community aspect that we used to have years and years and years and years and years and years ago.
That's exactly
when I was young, you know, when the doctor actually came. I know I'm that old. When the doctor actually came to your house.
That's part of it. I wanted that small town community feel.
Yeah.
That when you are, you know, at, you know, we have strip malls now, but you're at one, and it's like you keep seeing a local ad for something 4 or 5 rows down, and you might ask the person who works there, like, oh, who's that? It's like, oh, he lives right there. He's 2 doors down. It starts that little local community again.
Yeah.
That it's, I don't know. It just doesn't seem to be as local as it was. Maybe it was COVID, maybe not, but
no, I think it was way before COVID that problem existed.
That is for sure.
How should I spend money on a patent if, and you know, you're doing a whole new idea, but did you patent it, and what kind of money is that, and how do you know if your idea is patent worthy?
So first, when you have an idea, you want to do a little bit of research. So if you can pay a patent lawyer to do, I know it's between $2,000 and $5,000 to do a search, just a search. And you really need to know what your product is now and what it could transform to be, let's say, in 5 or 10 years. So you want to write that all out into either bullet points and then a small paragraph of text below it. And you want to have 5 to 10 claims to start. You know, I claim my chair has 5 legs instead of 4. That's what makes me different. So you have to start at a very basic level and say, this is why it's different than someone else's. And you could, if you were strapped on investment money, you could say, okay, I'm going to take this claim and search through the USPTO site and look for each version. But the problem is a lot of people will say, well, it's similar to a five-legged chair. So you might find 200 results. Well, then you'd have to require to read through and try to say, well, it's not like this one, or I'll have 6 legs and not 5. And it's a very complex process, but it is a necessity. If you have a really great product, you have to try to get some sort of protection. This is our second patent, and it's the same way. It's writing out the claims, and then going as much detail as you can, and then going to a lawyer. And I thought I was very smart. I thought, oh, I'm writing it in this language. The patent lawyer writes it in such beautiful, I don't know what, it's like patent language. I could call it like,
Yeah,
right?
I know.
It's fairly complex. And detailing each diagram with letters and numbers on this feature does this, and it's not a processor, it's a random access memory chip. It's not memory, it's a random access memory chip. So it's quite complex and it's expensive, but if you have a really good idea, you have 20 years coverage, but to try to get everything patented and then approved is quite an expensive process. So just make sure that your idea will make at least a couple $1 million one day, right? Because it's a long and tedious process.
So if you advertise on TV, is it more important than if you advertise on social media to have a patent for your idea if it's not going to make you a couple $1 million?
Well, the patent is just going to protect you from someone copying you.
Right.
But then I think Elon Musk said, he said patents are winning lottery tickets or something like that, or just like lottery tickets to lawyers. I forget the phrase, but he kind of works fast without patents because patents take a couple of years. So I think he said it's a lottery ticket to a lawsuit. I think it was something like that. So it depends on how fast your technology moves and if you have the capital behind you, because even if someone infringes on your patent, you still need, I've heard, 100 to 500,000 to go against them. I've heard up to 20 million, depending on what company. Look at some of those that Apple say, oh, we're just going to take this 7 or 8 years later. If you haven't run out of cash, you might have a winning suit.
Yeah, I know my brother works a lot of inventing things over the last 20 years or so. And one of the things he learned the hard way was he worked with to get pieces made of his various things he invented. He went to China.
Oh no.
And China took his patent.
Yes. Yep. If you didn't have a patent there, or if we don't have jurisdiction over that, if it's a millimeter here off or not, you still have to go after them.
Yeah. And that's where the money comes.
That's exactly where the money comes in. So you either have to be loaded or go to, capital groups and say, hey, this is the idea. It's working. It has traction. And now we have to go over this, guys. Most of the time, they're going to say, well, that's cost us 20 million.
Yeah.
So it has to be a very unique product.
So how would I get my business funded? Through angel or VC funding?
So we've had little backstories. We had us 3 guys were building the company, and one of them passed away, and he was helping funding the project a lot. And so we had, kind of a decision. Do we go to VC capital? Do we go to angel investors? And you realize you have to have a lot of your business in order. We were building out of excitement. We were building out of this product didn't exist. And there was a lot of pieces that you have to follow when you're looking for capital. Things like making sure that you're being semi-public about press releases and driving traffic and building your MVP and making it public. Because as investors, let's say a year into your product, are going to want to say, okay, what kind of audience do you have? What kind of traction could you even get? They don't want to just come in at 0. They want to say, okay, there's some traction here, and we just throw a little money on this product, and they already have the audience set, or they already have a bunch of excited people. And that's very important. So if you are going down that road, definitely talk to somebody either in your local community or the Rotary Club or the Chamber of Commerce, and talk to somebody that has dealt with angel and even VC are different. But talk to somebody there and say, okay, what's the checklist that I need to do? Even if you're at the idea stage, this is my business plan and I'm going to need 200,000 or 500,000. What am I going to need to check off to an angel investor in 3 months, 6 months from now that would make him pick my product over someone else's? And that's going to put you at like 85 to 90% more than everybody else. So those are the kind of little tips and tricks that I would do. There's a bunch of online, courses and classes that you can do too. These little business accelerators. We've been through one of those, and creating your pitch deck, right, of your ideas. And we did a little bit backwards. We were creating the product, and then, we were going to launch it ourselves. And then we're like, we got to create the pitch deck. We got to create this piece. We got to create that piece. And we can, but it was like, man, that's kind of backwards. Like you usually sometimes create it this way, but we did it very organically. We sat in restaurants, we talked to businesses, and we said, like, what would be so easy if you could push this button and you could show up here and you could show up there? And they were just like, what, how does that happen? But if we were to do it again, I would definitely document everything first.
That's exactly right.
Yes. Yeah. That would have been much easier.
It's interesting you said the pitch, because I work with students as well as adults for helping them become better speakers. And one of the schools that I volunteer at now and then, it does a Shark Tank for eighth graders.
For eighth graders, I like that.
So fun. And so usually there's about 29 of us that are sharks that will go and help them. And so obviously for me, I was brought in early to help teach them public speaking. And so today I was at one of the sessions earlier where it's their first session, and they just outlined what their pitch was going to be. And out of all of the people that were there, I'm one of the few that actually does pitches. And so it was cool. I guess I worked with about 12 kids to be able to give them some advice for the second draft of their pitch. And then tomorrow I'll go back and work with them again. And unfortunately, I can't be there Monday or Tuesday, but on Wednesday, then they're going to pitch to us. And
where was my pitch when I was a kid?
I know. It's awesome. Yeah, it's awesome. There's only a few schools that I know. Most of them do it in high school here, but and I work with the high schoolers too, that have entrepreneur classes. But a pitch,
that's invaluable.
80% of the pitch is how you deliver what you're saying. The stories and things, and to wrap an eighth grade mind around the whole idea of delivering the pain first to get them engaged and invested in what you're going to say. They are, of course, all starting out with just the normal, this is my name, this is my company. So it's
well, even
so
going
fun.
towards features, like I, as a nerd developer engineer background, I just like, well, it does A, B, and C. It's so great. But it's not necessarily what they need to hear. They need to hear there is a market problem for that. And it doesn't matter what you may have developed. Have you tested it? Is it a market fit? Is the green button supposed to be green? Is it supposed to have an outline on it? Why is it over on the left? It should be on the right. And when you put 10,000 people in an app, you quickly realize your idea was wrong and this idea was right, but I love the pitches. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring that up here locally.
Yeah. It's a very fun thing to do. And, even as part of what I offer in my coaching to folks is, every time you have a new pitch, every time you have a new presentation, let's go through it. Let me evaluate it for you so that I'm the first person that hears and not your audience.
Ah, yes. That is a
So
good idea.
yeah, so I have time just for one more question before we go to your slide of your contact information. And I wanted to just cover this, but we talked about the patent, but there's also trademark. And what is the difference between a patent and a trademark?
Yeah, so the patent is you have utility patent, and then you have I believe a software patent, and you can have two different types of patents. That is like your process or the design of the software or how it works. And then your trademark is going to be your logo or your brand name or your slogan. So if you have like our name is Tweva, I don't want somebody in another state to be able to create the something in marketing. Like I'll call myself something other than Tweva, like Tweva billboards or Tweva car wraps. So because that's trademarked in specific categories, such as I think we have like marketing and t-shirts and clothing. There's several ones I can't remember off the top of my head because it was a couple of years ago. We tried to cover all the bases, so nobody can use those names. Now, if somebody wanted to create Tweva toilets, they probably could, or Tweva faucets, because as we all know, you have Delta Airlines and you have Delta faucets. Because they are industry specific, you could have two different businesses with a trademark on each of their businesses, but in different industries. So that's your trademark. And then the patent is a certain process or a piece of software or a specific thing that you do. So ours would be, well, multiple pieces of how the software connects an ad and a customer and the TV and the way that we rotate and show content. And that's, we have several claims underneath that one. But those are the two different ones. One is, the patent is 20,000 or up from there. And then your trademark, well, that could be 1,000 or 2,000. So if you're limited, or if you're just a small business, you don't have a patent, definitely get a trademark, because that seems to be something that at least, hey, I'm working on this business, and you can keep it for, is trademarks longer than 20 years? I think they are.
I think it is. Yeah, I think it is.
I think it's a good
and I know that from my days working at UPS, if you try to use UPS's trademark, they will come after you.
Oh, they will. They will. They have little bots on the internet now, and they can scan and watch. And down here I got the big Disney, and they're the same. You can't use their products. Or years ago, I did a electronic version of something with the big company. Actually, it was a hotel with the big company, and they were watching the website for I think 5 years after. And
I mean, and it is all brand protection, and I think that that's the right thing to do.
It is. If you have a long-term goal, protect the brand, and that's what you want people to remember you as. So
right, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this has been very informative, and love your idea of the Tweva. So I'm going to share my screen so people know how to connect with you and to learn more. And so this is a reminder for those that are just listening that you need to run and get a paper and pencil. You should have really already had it because you missed all of that good content. Now you're going to need to come back and subscribe to my YouTube so that you can watch this again. But if you didn't, here you go. So again, the website is, as you see behind him, tweva.com. That's https:// like Vicki a.com. Tweva.com. He's on LinkedIn at David Van Beekum, or Instagram as tweva_com. And Twitter is Tweva, all caps, _com. YouTube is Tweva. Pinterest is Tweva_com. And TikTok is at tweva TV. And David, if you could just let them know a little bit about what will happen if they join tweva.
Absolutely. So you can go to that connect.tweva.com. And because we have a couple of different verticals we can connect businesses with, first there's a landing page in there. Are you a business? Click here. If you are a content creator or an influencer, click here. And there's a form in there. And like I said before, we're looking for a lot of content. So podcasters, videocasters. Is it a videocaster now, or is it
a vodcast? It's
video podcast.
It's vodcast.
Vodcast. Yeah, that's the kind of content that you can't see out in public, and we want to be able to push that content out. So not just influencers, but any kind of content creators. And then we also have, advertisers. So you can hit that connect.tweva.com and add your information there. We'll get you out an email with some latest information. But if you follow us on any kind of social media, just search tweva. We're trademarked, so we're the only one. No, there probably are one or two other gamers out there, but tweva is kind of a unique name. We picked it that way so it could be like a household name, Google, Facebook,
that's exactly
tweva.
Right.
That's
easy to
reason.
Say, easy to remember.
Yes. So yeah, if you have any questions, let me know in there. We'd love to get you connected into the network and get you publishing some content on TV.
Excellent. Well, it has been just wonderful chatting with you. I love your idea of the TV. I do know of a couple of other social TVs that are trying to be built and developed. So it's the more that we have, the more we can do some of that grassroots local store marketing type of thing. So love the idea. So again, if you have not done so, please do visit tweva.com. And as I always say, life is a journey, and it's up to you to enjoy the ride. This is Vicki Nettling signing off.
Thank you for tuning into the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast with Vicki Nettling, where we share impactful lessons that help you grow as an individual, grow your confidence, and find the positive and good within you so you powerfully and authentically become the best version of yourself. Remember to visit our website at www.findyourleadershipconfidence.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast.